The top story on ABC News Breakfast, several federal politicians are concerned crossbench MP Craig Thomson is being pushed to breaking point. Mr Thomson has hit out at the unrelenting focus on allegations he misused union funds.
He's made a very public plea to be left alone. Federal Government Whip Joel Fitzgibbon says the level of attack on Mr Thomson is unprecedented in his years in Parliament.
I've been here 16 years and for 11 and a half of those years I was in opposition. And yes, from time to time we went after ministers or other MPs that were found or had accusations against them, but I don't recall us ever pursuing someone relentlessly as this. And I have to say, never in those 16 years have I seen the media pursue someone so relentlessly.
Joel Fitzgibbon on 7:30 last night. We're joined now by Julie Doyle from our Canberra Bureau. Julie, good morning to you. There is obviously now very deep concern on both sides of politics about the impact of these attacks on Craig Thomson.
Yes, that's right, Michael. Joel Fitzgibbon is the latest there, but we heard from the Liberal backbencher Mel Washer earlier in the week as well. Now, what's prompted these concerns is Craig Thomson's statement to the media yesterday. It's really heightened the concern about the way that he's feeling. Now, Craig Thomson came out and spoke to the media yesterday because there were these reports circulating that Channel 9 had paid a prostitute for an interview about him. Now, Channel 9 says at this stage it has recorded an interview with the woman, but it hasn't paid anyone at this stage. But Craig Thomson came out and spoke to journalists quite unexpectedly yesterday because of this, and he talked about the coverage of his story being journalism at its worst. But then he also made some other comments saying things like enough is enough and what do you want? Are you trying to incite more hate mail? Are you trying to push a person to the brink? Now, it's that language about pushing someone to the brink that is causing concern, and we heard from the government whip there, Joel Fitzgibbon, saying that he's never seen Parliament as toxic as it is at the moment, that he's never seen someone hounded in such a relentless way. And both Joel Fitzgibbon and his Labor colleague Tanya Plibersek have made reference to the suicide of Labor MP Greg Wilton back in 2000. So they're really talking about warning their colleagues, warning politicians on both sides of the chamber to be very mindful about the impact of these ongoing attacks on Craig Thomson.
And we perhaps saw this concern reflected in a subtle change of tactics employed by the opposition in question time yesterday.
Yes, we did. We saw Tony Abbott say in question time yesterday that the coalition, all of the members, have sympathy at a human level for the member for Dobell, Craig Thomson, but then really fired in and focused the attack on the Prime Minister instead. We saw lots of questions yesterday in question time about Julia Gillard's integrity and question after question on the carbon tax and the broken promise there, and ripping up of the deal with Andrew Wilkie on poker machine changes. And then question time ended up in the way that it does a lot these days, with the opposition trying to move a suspension of standing orders so they could censure the Prime Minister over what they called her consistent failure to be honest with the Australian people. So that motion wasn't successful, but certainly the focus yesterday was on the Prime Minister in question time rather than on Craig Thomson.
OK, Julie Doyle, we'll leave it there. We'll come back to you later in the program.